Well, g'day, welcome back to Das Customs. I'm your host Das, and we're back. We're back doing, stuff, working on the V-dubs. I feel like I've lost my mojo a little bit lately. I kind of can't seem to, feel like I'm, making progress, but I am kind of making progress in the background. Doesn't mean I've stopped completely working on my cars. I've been moving forward. The electrical is all but done on the 50 Shades project. Couple of things. I've just got to put, say, the windscreen wipers in and, just button up a couple of stuff. You can see I've run headlight looms run. The fuse box is basically done. Up under there, I've shown you most of that. However, I have wired in all the front to back stuff. I've got the turbo module mounted in. So that's basically the fine tuning mechanism for the turbo, CV Performance turbo setup. Oh yeah, that was a good little win. I'll show you that side. That was... That's also to do with the fuel injection setup. That's the CB Performance. That's the computer, the ECU in the back there with all of its relays and all that kind of stuff. I built up that little box. I kind of folded it using my folder. It's kind of the first project I've actually used that thing properly for. And it kind of houses the computer, but also allows me to bolt all the the bits on. There's fuses for it. Not sure why it has 4 fuses, but it does. I also wired in, so basically it's wired in off a relay as well. So I added a relay to the system. So basically the power from it, it comes from the front, from the ignition, but it's directly powered to the battery. That relay just kind of flicks it on. I realized that actually runs the fuel pump as well, so that's good. So that's that all wired in. I've been working on this wiring loom back here, and you can, kind of tell by what's going on around here. I scored the exhaust for this thing too, but I think I'm going to modify it. What have I done? So this is the wiring loom is all back here now. It will tuck up there behind when I'm done and just be completely, well, like that, disappeared. I've got this all goes to the coil, boom, so that'll just flick in there. And then I've got all the fuel injectors are wired in. I've got this little loom that comes down to the distributor, but also to the oil pressure and oil temp sensors, which is pretty cool. I've done that. This is the tail light assembly, so that'll come down and hide in there. Tail light assembly on the other side, as well as oh yeah, this is the I'm looking at that going, what the hell is that again? That is the main loop that goes down into the starter. So that's my main power feed. So I'll loop off that. They're my 2 main powers. One goes to the alternator, which is that one. So that'll come up this way, boom, into the alternator. That'll go down into the battery, and it's also the trigger wire for the starter motor. So that green one will be my trigger. It should get me started. Getting very close to having it buttoned up. I've still got vacuum lines to run, so I've got to run a vacuum line that runs off the vacuum regulated fuel pressure pump. This just goes on and on and on with the plumbing and the wiring in this thing. Holy crap. Anyway, I just thought, I'm so close to having it done, but I'm still missing 3 to 4 fittings. I've ordered them twice and they've come wrong twice. It's just kind of the way it goes. I was trying to get an adapter for my oil filter. This one came wrong. I tried to make one somewhere around here, wrong. Also had to order the, this is like a oil fitting for the turbo. It's an oil feed pressure line. So this one is a reducer, reduces it down to 1 mil, just so you're not like flooding the thing with oil. They're only meant to have a bit of oil go into them. This is the one that came out of it. This is the one I ordered, wrong size. Great. What else have I ordered wrong? So this is the, I've had to pull the sump off, the deep sump. This is a Gene Berg sump that I pulled off the bottom of it, because this is the oil drain line that comes out of the bottom of the low mount turbo. And I've managed to, I had to tap a thread into the side of this thing to accept a, fitting. The problem is that this fitting is way smaller than that hose. I've just got to get another one that's the right size so I can, you know, put that in, and then that'll be the turbo buttoned up. So basically I've just got the turbo and the oil filter fittings missing. But in the meantime, I thought I'll do something different, you know, and this is a headliner. Yep, it's a headliner. And I got this somewhere, can't even remember where. It just came in a box of bits, and it is a black, you know, the nylon kind of standard headliner that the VWs come in. And that car there is going to be black interior. Maybe I might have aluminium door cards, but I think it's just going to be black, and I'll probably end up just getting some grey, light grey stitching done. You know, pull the seat covers off and put some light grey stitching in them, and some light grey stitching in the door covers, maybe a slash of red. But this headliner is your kind of one for the later bugs that you're kind of meant to, you know, bring around and glue in. You're meant to start kind of gluing them into there, stretch them over. This car, I mean, it was the poverty pack car, and I believe, see how it has none of the, it doesn't have any of the things to feed the headliner into. So, you know, down here, they usually have a thing to feed the headliner into, whether they've been cut off or whether that's just how it was. You can see this car has no chrome on it. So what I'm going to try and do is cut that headliner, put the bows in it so it tucks in around the top here. You can see the previous one was just carpet glued in. I'm not even going to bother cleaning all that off. I'm just going to put this other one in, and it should bridge across it all and tuck it in. I've got to figure out how, does it glue in anywhere, or does it just sit in there and look pretty, you know, around the front here too. So I'm going to just cut this bad boy. I've got some bows here somewhere, on one of these shelves somewhere. Is some bows, and we'll see if we can just slot this thing in. It could either be a really simple process or it could be a nightmare, but you know, I haven't put a video up for a while, so figured I may as well take you guys with me. Anyway, let's try and do this thing. So that's it, roughly cut to shape. I'll probably have to do a bit more trimming once it's in there. And I've got the bows in. Look, the bows are usually meant to have these little rubber or plastic things on the end of them. Don't have any of those, so I'm just going to try and put them in without. I think what I'm going to do is I'll try and get, the bows up in first, and then kind of poke the sides in, maybe with a flat ruler or something like that. Let's just get it up in there and have a look, eh? It's windy out there. Just blew my door open. So usually with this kind of headliner, you glue it in the front, stretch it, glue it in the back, glue it down the sides, you clip it off with a heap of these clips. But I'm gonna, as normal, I'm doing something that probably isn't the way you meant to do it. So what I'm gonna have to do is, I think I'm gonna have to get some glue and glue it up into there. The issue is as I glue it up, you're gonna see where those bows are. So I guess if I got them lined up with the lines in the bows, that might make it less obvious. And then just glue either side. I'm gonna have to figure this out. This is something that's kinda crucial to the look of it. I could stick some foam in there to make it the same height around and then glue it to it and try and tuck it in. I'm just gonna have to try and figure this out. All right, I've come up with a game plan. The idea is to kind of glue in a section at a time up there. So I'm going to stretch it tight. I'm going to put a line of glue. I'm going to glue it in and then cut back that afterwards, hopefully, and then poke it all in. I've tried different contact adhesives over the time. Now I use this one. You can see, I've had it for a while. It's been through the floods. So that was at least 3 years ago. I got given this to me, and that's the reason why I use it. And there's a lot of it, so I'll probably be using it for a long time. Sprayable. It sticks. It really, really sticks. So I'm just going to pour a little bit of this out into a small container and brush it on. Let's see how we go. Hopefully I've kind of nutted this out enough. I think it's going to look good when it's done. Like the nice black headliner in there will really pop, make this car look good. Kind of almost a little factory-ish as well, which is kind of cool. All right, see if I can decant some of this stuff. All right, well, we're kind of getting somewhere. You can see, there's still some creases that need to be worked out, which we'll kind of work out as we pull it across. And then obviously this central bit, you got to kind of get that with a heat gun and pull it. But what I'm trying to do, if I can get you guys to have a look. So what I've been doing is I've been, let's see if I can, I've been sticking this bit of double-sided foam on just to create a lip, and then I'm contact adhesiving there, contact adhesive on there, and then kind of tucking it in. And I'm hoping that tuck kind of alleviates, or that bit of foam alleviates where the ribs, what do they call them? The bows go through, and kind of just creates a nice, neat look. And then I'm going to cut across here and tuck that in, and hopefully all that kind of works. I had to reconstitute some contact adhesive there. It was a bit thick. So now I'm going to try and start on this side. You can see there's nothing in there. So first of all, I'll stick a bit of this up there, a bit of this. Where are you? Stick a bit of that kind of up in there, leave a bit of a gap, and then glue in there to kind of glue this thing in. I've kind of cut the sides off, trimmed at both sides. It's getting better. That, I'll heat gun that. This here is a little bit not the best. I don't know. Try and pull that a bit tighter as I jam it in. Bit there, bit there. That's pretty good through there. There's a bit of a pull there. Maybe I just need to pull it across that way more. It's always a bit of a thing with these things because you're trying to go to a shape that's not really, it's just sewn together in a factory. Anyway, let's keep cracking. All right, well, I've managed to tuck the back in. I've kind of, you know, glued and tucked it. There's a few little wrinkles where the bows just don't quite sit down properly on it. Not a lot I can do about that. At the end of the day, you know, I mean, I'll hit it with a heat gun and try and get it a bit better across some of those, but it's just going to have to do. It kind of looks good. It's kind of factory-ish. It kind of hangs down. It's not touching the roof. It's not just a bit of carpet glued in there as I've done before. Let's see if I can hit the front and make it look, you know, as reasonable as the back. So I'm just doing the last few little tucks here. It's kind of not too bad. It's a little bit saggy in those bottom corners there, but that'll do. My tool of choice, I've just got a thin ruler that's, you know, got a bit of a bend on the end, and I'm just using it to kind of, you know, poke it in like that. Making sure it's glued up and kind of, you know, poking the whole way around the sides without tearing it. So a bit of work with the heat gun, and I've managed to get most of the wrinkles out of the middle. Look, is it perfect? No, not perfect. But it's gonna do this car. I mean, you know, it looks nice and neat. It's finished, matches the nice black seat. Now I've just got to get the door cards to match. I mean, this thing is coming along. That's another massive milestone kicked off for me. I mean, I've been kind of planning this for ages. You know, one of those things I've been meaning to do, and now it's done. There's a lot more to do on this car, and I'm really trying to stick at it. I'm just trying to get this thing nailed. Hopefully these other fittings show up soon, and I can do a start video for you guys. It's just literally 2 fittings that I'm missing now. I hope, you know, there'll be something else, I'm sure. On that note, I'm going to have to say goodbye. I hope you guys have had a great weekend, and I guess I'll catch you all later.